Hey everyone, welcome to Home with Kelly P. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you two recent DIY projects I did for Christmas time. And I used mostly items from the dollar store, Dollar Tree. And actually, I am also using Christmas ornaments that I already had on hand that I've had for years. So I just gave them new life and new purpose. And I love the way these turned out. So if you are new here, welcome so much to my channel. I am so excited to have you here. My name is Kelly. Feel free to take a look around my channel at some of the other videos I've done, and I hope that you will think about subscribing and becoming joining my little growing YouTube channel here. I absolutely love what I do. I love home decor, I love DIY, I love organizing, and I love to share it with you guys as well. This video is part of my first Christmas series here on YouTube. I am just starting to decorate for Christmas, and I thought I'd get going on a couple of DIYs. So enough talking, let's get into the first DIY project. So here are the items that you will be needing for this first DIY project, and I'm almost a little embarrassed to call it a DIY project because it's so simple. So I'm going to be making a candle ring. So I had this floral craft ring on hand, which I got at Michael's. I think it was $1.49. Some paint of your choosing, and of course the embellishments that you want to use, and your hot glue. So I decided to go with the silver spray paint. I decided to use my silver ornaments for this project. So after giving the ring a coat of spray paint, I came in and took my pick and laid it on the ring to kind of get an idea of how I wanted it to look. I thought about using some of the gold leaves with it as well to make it silver and gold, but it just wasn't working out. So now I'm just going to manipulate the pick into its shape. I will cut off that tail of the pick. Now I'm going to apply my hot glue to the ring and then apply my pick to it, and that is it. But this is a perfect size to fit larger candles. It goes around the base of larger candles, and even the 3-wick Bath and Body Works candles. It's a perfect just little embellishment, a quick little embellishment around the base of a candle. Instead of purchasing, you know, one of the Bath and Body Works candle holders, which are absolutely beautiful, but they're so expensive. So by the time you pay for a ring and a candle, you could be paying upwards of $50. And I think this is just beautiful. And here it is with my fireside marshmallow candle, which has this gorgeous silver packaging as well. Now this next DIY project is inspired by something I saw at HomeSense recently, and really didn't want to pay, you know, $50, $60 for a use for one time a year. So here are the materials I'm going to be using. I purchased a foam core board from the dollar store, so for $1. Then I had these this wood on hand I bought months ago for another project but never finished. It was an 8-foot length, and I think it was maybe 2¼ inches wide by 1/4 inch thick, but it was only about $2.80 at Home Depot. Then my new favorite wood stain, which is special walnut, and of course a sponge brush to apply the stain with. And then I'm going to be using some of these other things, wood glue, some clamps and a staple gun and a right angle. Then of course the embellishments for the picture part. I had made these snowflakes years ago in another DIY project, and I thought I might try something a little different with them this year. And then I picked up these tiny little snowflakes. They were actually from Michael's, but I did not pay $4.49 for them, as you can see here in the Canadian amount. I had a coupon for 50% off, so I guess I got them for about $2.50. And then, of course, this brush paint pen that I had. So the first thing I'm going to do is just measure out my foam core board because, believe it or not, the tag did not have the measurements on it. And I think this measured out to 30 inches by, I want to say 22, maybe 24 inches. Next, I'm just going to measure out each piece of wood and decide how far down I want this to come onto my foam core. And it turned out that I went with a 31-inch long piece and a 17-inch wide piece for across the shorter side. And because these pieces of wood were cut into 48 inches lengths, it worked out perfectly to make the frame for this picture. So now I'm just going to take my cuts after I took it into my husband's workshop and just used our little tiny chop saw. And I'm just going to make sure everything fits correctly. And as you can see, these measurements were perfect. They were exactly what I needed to make this frame for this poster board. So once I had them all laid out and where I wanted them, I just marked on each of the length pieces where I wanted the shorter side pieces to match up with it. Then I took my wood glue and started gluing the corners together and then clamped them with my clamp so that they would hold and let it dry overnight. I do find sometimes that for wood glue you really do need to wait overnight for things to really adhere and take hold. So I let this dry overnight with the clamps. Now the next day, once everything was dry, I removed the clamps and now I get to stain it. And this is my new favorite color. It's Special Walnut by Minwax. And I adore this color. It gives me that real modern farmhouse feel that I love. And all the pictures I was seeing in HomeSense all had this color of stain on their frames, and I just love it. So what I did was I applied it to, as you can see, just to the top of the frame and the sides, and I let it sink in for a few minutes before I took a piece of paper towel and just wiped off the excess. But look at this color. It is gorgeous. It really gives me that modern farmhouse feel. I just loved the way this looked. So once I let this dry overnight, it just needed to dry overnight. I came back in and now the fun part is I'm going to attach my foam core board to the back of it. So now I'm just going to flip it over, and now what I'm going to do is take my foam core board, place it on the back of the frame, and then I'm going to mark the corners where I want the foam core to be lined up once again once I apply my hot glue. This just helps me to see where I need to match it up. And now I'm going to apply my hot glue. I was having trouble because I was running out of glue here, but I managed to get another stick very quickly. But I did have to take this into my husband's workshop and apply some staples with the staple gun because the glue just wasn't adhering as well as I wanted it to. Once that was done, now it's the fun part. I took my ornament and clipped off the string I had, and now I'm just going to apply all my little ornaments with hot glue. And I'm starting with my big snowflake in the middle. Then I was so happy I picked up these little white snowflakes. It's really, really hard to see because they're white on white, but I just started randomly applying these to the foam core, and it was exactly the perfect little touch. Now I'm going to try and write "Let It Snow" in, you know, that nice writing with this paint pen, which is very handy to have. But let me know what you think of the writing. I had practiced the night before, but when it comes to crunch time, you get a little nervous. But I think it turned out okay. And I went back in after I had written out "Let It Snow" and just made certain areas thicker to give it more dimension. But overall, I think I did okay. This is because I don't have a Cricut machine, and if I had a Cricut machine, I would have printed this all off. But I think it turned out okay. And so to hang this picture, it is very, very light. So I'm just going to use some command strips, the Velcro ones, on the back of it. And here's a look at the finished product. It's so cute. And you know, I was looking at things in the store, and I mean, this is just as cute. Yes, it's not perfect, but I love that about it. It has that kind of rustic, modern farmhouse feel to it that I love, 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 and I have been seeing in the stores. So I was pretty happy with the way it turned out. Those white snowflakes are so darling. So that's it. And now I'm going to give you a quick look at the two finished products. Now these white snowflakes in the corner of the frame are not attached. I just placed them there for a little bit of extra embellishment, but I really did kind of like it. So I might just stick them there for the season. I don't think I'll glue them on, but I'll see once it's hanging on the wall. But here it is. Here are both projects, and I am so thrilled with the way these turned out. Well, I hope that inspired you to take a look at some of your Christmas ornaments and try something different with them, especially with the ones that you aren't using too often. For me, it was those silver picks that I have had for years. I really don't use them, but they were so pretty I didn't really want to get rid of them just yet. So I was really happy to repurpose them into my candle ring. And I will just have to get another ring, another form of some sort, and make another one, and then I can have a pair, and that will be wonderful for the Christmas season. And the painting, well, instead of having to buy something at a store for, you know, $50, $60 and use it once a year, I thought this was a perfect opportunity to repurpose a couple of my other ornaments that I have, and I had the wood and just buy the board from, you know, the dollar store, that big Bristol board. That was a perfect way to repurpose that. So I hope that inspired you to look at your ornaments a little bit differently and use them in a different way this year. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really, really hope that you enjoyed yourself. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the little gray bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. So until I talk to you in my next video, I hope you have a great week. Bye.